All right, y'all. We back with another one, man. Y'all already know what is going on. Check this out, right? So I want to get into this clip, and I'm not sure if this was from Ancient Aliens. It was with David Wilcock, and he was interviewing somebody talking about underground bases. C labs is what the guy was calling them. Now, a long time ago, you probably hear him tell that story and think this guy's out of his mind, right? But a lot of us believe that that is the true space, that it is actually water and it's not a vast, you know, black, dark, whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? We're not flying through space. A lot of us believe that it is actually water. That's probably the only time for me the term as above, so below would apply, as in there is water above us, there is water beneath us. You know what I'm saying? So I want to play this clip for y'all really quick, right? We're going to also react to this as well. And this was about a guy who saw a giant and was talking about the little ones being sacrificed, right? So I'm gonna play this clip. Now I'm not sure if this is from Ancient Aliens. I'm gonna have to see when I upload the video. So I may have to cover their faces to not get copyright. But if it creeps through and y'all can see the interview, then you know it didn't have a copyright on it. But check this out, y'all.
Are you familiar with there being any bases that our government or the cabal might have that would be under the ocean?
Yes.
And how would that work based on what you know? How would you build a base at the bottom of the ocean, let's say?
Well, there's bases that were already there that they took over that have been here for millions of years that were already functional. And they found these bases in different parts and different areas. And most of the bases, so are not just like bubbles on the bottom of an ocean. They're actually under the ocean's crust.
Right.
So that's how they really bore in there. And they build it from underneath up. They don't go down from the surface of the ocean with a bunch of 2x4s and steel parts. It's a very complex, a very advanced way to make an underground sea lab. Sea labs exist all over the world.
That's what it's called, a sea lab?
Sea labs,
Okay.
yeah, are all over all over the world. Very small. You might see a small one on the bottom of the ocean, but underneath that is really where the base is. It's underneath and the crust of the bottom of the ocean and the rock.
So by digging down first and then working from the bottom up, does
Correct.
that prevent against erosion and cataclysms and that kind of thing?
I think it's probably the safest way to do it without being noticed.
Right.
It's a secrecy thing. After what happened many years ago with the Taos hums, they were worried that people were catching on with what they were doing with this, making these tunnels. But now they're using a different type of technique. Of course, as you know, they make big lava tubes and melt rock, and they don't use the old-fashioned drills. You see these pictures of these ancient drill bits that are like 150 feet in diameter, and
Right.
That's old school.
Some skeptics might say that we barely even have the ability to get any submarine that far down. The pressure would crush any type of technology. So how have they overcome those limitations of the pressure?
Oh, no, they don't use submarines that use, our own alien reproduction vehicles. We form our own gravitational force, so we're inside our own gravity field. So we cannot get crushed. I mean, we form, that's why you can go to space, and that's why you see some of these UFOs and these other ones just go right into the water that you keep going, because they're in their own environment of their own gravity. So it'd be easy for that to, for them to transport people or equipment or whatnot. But they always have a direct link to these tunnels, is what it's all about. And there's many tunnels all around the world.
And there's enough pressure that they can generate enough gravity that they can easily counteract the pressure of the ocean?
Oh, absolutely. Plus, they can transdimensionally change the size of themselves.
How would that work?
Well, they kind of like dematerialize, but you're still there, but you're just out of this frequency just a hair, so you're not really you don't fall under the laws of the science.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Now, this goes directly into what I have been talking about and telling y'all. Now, I'm not going to take the full credit because I saw it on this clip and it was like this author. And I have it in one of my videos. I may have to go back, scrub through this UFO video I did. I think it was with the Third Right. And one of those videos, it was like an hour long, right? Maybe 2 years ago. And the author was talking about the demonic presence of UFOs. And this is where I got the thing from that we sometimes, well, most of the time, you wouldn't be able to touch the UFO because it's not physical, right? Now, this guy's talking about this like this is just nothing. Like this is, just off the top of his like he knows this information off the back of his hand, like nothing. Not stuttering, looking at him with a straight face. Like, yeah, these UFOs, they can dematerialize. They can transform to where they sit right outside of this frequency to where the laws of whatever you want to believe in does not matter to how it moves in and out of the ocean. Isn't that insane? We're going to listen to the last 30 seconds again because I don't think, did y'all hear what he said? It also makes you think about another thing. He basically said the technology, said they're not using submarines. They already have re-engineered UFO alien tech that they have built their own gravity field around. So there is no such thing as pressure from all of that water. They're chilling. It makes you think about all the way back in the 40s. Remember the Third Reich, the Nazis, they had probes, and I'm going to say that they were digital. Maybe they weren't digital. More than likely, they were digital. I'm not fully sure. But those probes were able to go in and out of this reality or one side of the world to another in the blink of a damn eye. It's from research, right? And remember, what did old dude say when he pulled up to Antarctica and they tried to see what was going on? And they said these UFOs flew out of the water, rose up out of the water at speeds they had never seen before. What's his name? Y'all know who I'm talking about. Y'all know I forget names like crazy. Admiral Byrd. They said they were met with UFOs, whoosh, water coming off the UFO, phew, pow, 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 shooting little laser bullets. Who knows, like Star Wars or something. But how many times have we heard the story about these UFOs coming out of the water? So you would be crazy to think that that technology does not exist. I mean, he just told us. He said it's our own technology, and that's been known for a long time. That we have things
on gravity.
Let me go back a little bit.
And just go right into the water.
That's been known, that a lot of the stuff where they're trying to trick us and say it's UFOs and aliens, it's our own technology, y'all. It's our own technology. That's why when I say you can't touch them, they're not physical, it's one of two things. It's just our technology but digital, or it's like what he's saying. Those crafts that are able to dematerialize, we'll use his term. Then you have to think about what kind of technology is behind that. Let's listen to it one more time.
So we cannot get crushed. I mean, we form
Of the pressure.
Oh no, they don't use submarines that use our own alien reproduction vehicles. We form our own gravitational force, so we're inside our own gravity field. So we cannot get crushed. I mean, we form, that's why you can go to space, and that's why you see some of these UFOs and these other ones just go right into the water that you keep going, because they're in their own environment of their own gravity. So it'd be easy for that to, for them to transport people or equipment or whatnot. But they always have a direct link to these tunnels, is what it's all about. And there's many tunnels all around the world.
And there's enough pressure that they can generate enough gravity that they can easily counteract the pressure of the ocean?
Oh, absolutely. Plus, they can transdimensionally change the size of themselves.
Like, how would that work?
Well, they kind of like dematerialize, but you're still there, but you're just out of this frequency just a hair. So you're not really you don't fall under the.
Bro, he said, yo, yo. What did he say? He said they can trans-dimensionally change the size of themselves. So who is he speaking of? He said themselves. As in he's speaking of like this UFO that's coming in and out of the water being an entity. Trans-dimensionally change the size? What? Dematerialize to where they exist right outside of this frequency? They're still there, but they're just right here. So that way, none of the laws of this reality actually matters. Because technically, they're over here. In this little piece of dimension, just right outside of where we exist at. Shoo. Y'all gotta stop playing. That is crazy. Once again, hopefully I don't have to cover this up. I'm not sure if this was known, that those bricks in the background almost tell me this was ancient aliens, but I'm not sure. This that clip is insane, y'all. Let's switch the topic. Let's check out this video about this guy telling his story about. Let's check out this video, and it's pretty interesting, y'all. Check it out.
Now, because Troy's going to share, and I'm glad to finally hear it firsthand.
Okay, well, for one thing, I never intended for everybody hearing this story. And I was at the NRB last year, and Tony Merkel came walking up, and I totally fanboyed and said, "Hey, Tony, I saw a giant. We got to be friends. I got to tell you about it." And I was on camera. And then all of a sudden, everybody and their dog started asking me to tell the story of when I saw a giant. And I was like, oh, man. So it's just kind of funny how it all came to pass. But yeah, everybody wants to know about it now.
Okay, so spill the beans. Come on, let's hear it.
Okay, all right. So we rescue kids in Chiapas, Mexico, and we have a ministry that rescues children all over the world out of sexual trafficking. I've been doing that for 30 years. And when you do that, you come across really blurry stuff. There's a lot of witchcraft involved in it, a lot of Nephilim sex magic. There is all kinds of blood ritualism, satanic ritualism, and there's just a lot of witchcraft and all kinds of stuff. And so it doesn't really shock me to see crazy things. And in the context of an American context, you're like, if you say, hey, I saw a giant or I saw this, people are like, whoa, wait, stop. For us, it's just like, yeah, you see stuff. So we were down there and we were rescuing kids. And one of the things that all the kids say in that region is when many times there'll be many children disappear at one time and they'll say they fed them to the giant. And you just think that that's just a metaphor. That's something that they say to scare the kids. The cartel there is really, really bad. And the largest Mayan pyramid on the planet Earth is there. And it is the only privately owned Mayan pyramid on the planet Earth.
Wait, stop right there. What do you mean? Somebody actually owns a Mayan pyramid? These people must be Satanists then. They're using the power of the pyramid to do rituals? What is this?
Yeah, no, I've been there, and I went there with Brian Schwartz and a bunch of our team, and yeah, it's privately owned, and people come. They have private meetings there from all over the world, and all kinds of madness happens there. Our rescue home, which is called Redemption Ranch, and it's literally, you can see the pyramid from our place, on the very place where untold number of children have been slaughtered. In that very place, we're actually rescuing children there.
Wow,
and they have crazy things happen. The guy that runs the place told me that there are certain times of the year that the stars come down and turn into people and all kinds of things. And I'm like, oh, really?
Now, the stories that you will hear, because he's not the first guy I've heard stories like this from, but I swear sometimes, like, I don't know if it's just living in America. We get a lot of propaganda, a lot of bullshit we see on the news and stuff. I don't know if it's just living here and being so wrapped up in this country, but it's like we seem to forget America ain't the only country. and really the most freakiest shit, supernatural, damn near demonic shit happens in other countries as well. I mean, don't get me wrong, America is responsible for some sick shit. But it's like when I hear these kind of stories about the star fell from the sky and turned into a man or whatever he's talking about, or seeing giants and seeing all this crazy stuff, it's usually in like different countries and Mexico and all these other places where the veil probably is very thin, you know? But I swear, I don't know, just like living here, I don't know, man. Ain't all cracked up to be what it seems. And I'm not saying that I want to see this shit, but you know, we just get so caught up in America and chasing money and stuff here, and you know, everything that people chase is that the rest of the world is just as real, you know, if not even more real. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
He said, yeah.
Oh, man. Okay,
Yeah.
so while you're like validating everything that I've already known for so long with these encounters, this is seriously crazy stuff. Well, so what do you think? How long have they been bringing children blood sacrifices to that pyramid?
More than 1,000 years.
Oh my God.
More than 1,000 years. And I mean, and it's still going on today. I mean, there are still, I promise you, we have rescued children out of the most horrific of circumstances. And yes, there was pornography involved. Yes, there was all those things involved, but there's also too unbelievably horrible things that have to do with their blood and have to do with ritualistic, satanic things. And all of that is also tied into the Mayan culture. And it's been going on in that region for at least a millennia. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh. So do the setup. Were you at the pyramid when you saw this being?
No, I wasn't. I had been at the pyramid. I had been there. But even at the hotel we stay at, there's a giant rock that has a giant's footprint in it. And it's part of the floor of the actual
crazy.
hotel where we stay at. There's giant sightings around there. There's giant footprints within the rocks. There's megalithic structures, and it's just part of the local culture down there. And the mythos of the narrative down there is that there are giants here. And I had really thought that most of that was just myth and things like that until I actually saw one, and that changes things.
I guess so. For me, if I would have been in the hotel that was built on the rock with the giant's footprint, I would have been fighting giants all night.
Crazy thing is, y'all see over here the Wi-Fi's about the guy. Y'all remember that dude Andrew Dawson? I mean, that story was super viral 3-4 years ago. And then like supposedly he just went missing or passed away or something like that. It was super viral. And how he had that footage of that giant that was at the top of a mountain. And then the next day when he came back, he wasn't there. And then the dude was like paranoid, making videos. Then he said it was fake. And then he just disappeared. I don't even know. Is he still gone? Like, is he still missing? And did he really pass away? I'm not sure. But it reminds me of that story. And it lets you know that, man, unless there's still some giants that can manifest into this reality, or however, or if they're just still here somewhere and we just don't know where they at. These are crazy stories, but like I said, I'm not the type to dismiss it. You know what I'm saying? But I think I'll go ahead and wrap it up right here, y'all. I may add a little bit more from this interview to another video. It's pretty interesting. Her page is Katie Souza. You should be able to see it on the screen. I'll zoom in for y'all. Yeah, I'll catch y'all in the next one. All right, Black Balloon, and I'm gonna see y'all soon. I'm out.